5 seconds, and this is where I do the consistent tap dance. And if we are live, which I don't believe it is, now I believe it is. Hello and happy Tuesday, everyone. We are now officially live, Tech Talk Tuesday. It is Tuesday, August 19th, 1 p.m. Central Time. I think this is now our 10th show. I should probably know, considering I've been on every one and coordinating it. But today is a very special episode as we are welcoming the first past president, Chief Waldo, back to Tech Talk Tuesday, and now the current IAFC president, Chief Trisha Wolford, along with my other co-hosts, Will Brocious and Scott Roseberry. And we're going to talk about the roadmap of where IAFC is today and where IAFC is going, and the role that both Chief Waldo and Wolford see with tech and culture and change management and all that. So thank you all for being here. If you've got comments, questions, throw them in the chat, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, all the fun stuff, and I will be monitoring it. So Scott, throw it to you.
Hey, well, thank you and welcome back, everybody. We're excited for today's show, like I said, with Chief Wolford and Chief Waldo. We're going to have some good conversations about where the IAFC is headed, where it came from, and maybe some future discussions. We'll dive into technology a little bit, and one of our favorite subjects, and maybe talk about TSI as well, another favorite subject. So, welcome back, everybody. I'll turn it over to Will.
Yeah, Will Brocious, Charlottesville Fire Department. Have the pleasure of serving as Deputy Chief here, and I'm gonna try it again, Scott. Here we go. I'm drinking smart water today. So, Chief Wolford, I beg for sponsors. I'm unsuccessful, but I have no shame. So I keep trying. So I've got a whole plethora of drinks here that I've been trying. And I think we may have one coming up. I would go crazy if we got Starbucks. But anyway, enough about me.
Oh, we've been told we've been shooting too high, though. We need to lower the bar a bit, apparently. So,
hey man, quarter water, bring it. All right. So, you want to get the introductions off with Chief Wolford and then Chief Waldo?
Yeah. First of all, let's make sure we thank the IAFC and Fire Rescue One for helping us host the show. But let's introduce Chief Waldo.
Yeah, good afternoon or good morning, I guess, depending on which coast you're on. Josh Waldo, I'm the fire chief here in Bozeman, Montana, and as of Saturday, the immediate past president of the IAFC, turning it over to a near and dear friend of mine, Chief Trisha Wolford, who is going to do a far better job than I did as president. I'm guaranteeing that.
I bet the year passed by fast for you.
Oh, faster than you would ever imagine.
Wow. And then Chief Wolford, thanks for joining us, the newly elected IAFC president.
Thank you. Yes, happy to be working with Josh. And I think if any of you heard that, my career as a chief officer started with Josh. He hired me as his deputy chief in Bozeman. So now I'm currently the fire chief in Anne Arundel County, Maryland, and love this department, love this community. Your newest IAFC president with, let's see, 359 days left to get stuff done. So that is not a I want out countdown. That is how much time do we have to make good stuff happen. So I don't want to lose track of time because, like Josh says, everything happens so fast. And next thing you know, it's like we're a month out from FRI and we'll be in Kansas City. So thank you all for having us. And Kevin, great job on the pre-planning, right? To get Josh and I both here right after all the festivities then in Orlando. So pretty cool. So very good planning.
Yeah, this is probably the first official interview that you both have had since this.
I think it is.
All right.
There we go. So how do you want to start it, Scott? Chiefs, we're pretty laid back here. We like to have fun. Sometimes I sing. We may do some 90s hip hop trivia like we did with our friend from Fairfax County. But I think maybe just kind of the direction we're headed, right, Scott? Where are we headed with the IAFC, especially when it comes to technology? You want to get that going, Scott?
Yeah, so Chief Waldo, kind of talking about the year, like some of the accomplishments you had and some of the challenges you may have had over this past year.
Oh, wow. I think adapting to the curveballs that you don't see coming. I think those were the accomplishments, right? Came in with an agenda, or a list of things like, all right, this is what we're going to focus on. And then we have to fight to save our grants. We have to fight to get the firefighter cancer registry back up. We have to fight to get the NFA back open. And And we're doing all of that while we're just trying to keep the association moving forward. None of our conferences, missed a beat. None of our educational opportunities missed a beat. So, super happy with that. But yeah, I think it's the unknown. And that's what I've told Trisha. I'm like, I can tell you what I think is going to happen, and then something that neither one of us could predict is going to end up consuming so much of her time. And so I think to keep the association moving forward, to keep it growing, to keep it healthy, while kind of navigating some pretty unpredictable waters, I'm going to take it as a win.
The Black Swans, have you ever read that book?
No, I don't believe I have. Is it in crayon?
It's the unknown unknowns. It's for hundreds of years, scientists knew only white swans existed until one day a scientist is walking through Australia and stumbles across a black swan, and it turned the scientific world upside down. It's the unknown unknowns.
Go. And I think you did a phenomenal job, Chief Waldo, just kind of, like you said, navigating through those difficulties. And Chief Wolford, January, we got NERIS goes live. So no pressure, no stress, right? It's just the biggest thing that ever hit the fire service in the last 50 years. No pressure, right? I'm sure we'll just be fine and everything's just going to work immediately day one. What's some things you're looking forward to over the next year, Chief Wolford?
Well, I do think NERIS is going to be just fine because we've already seen that. And pretty much anything the brainchild of Dr. Lori has been successful with Tom Jenkins leading it now, the adoption of departments. I love the fact that I can say to my members, and we're just starting it now, we're in the queue right now, that, I'm nervous because of the firefighter change, but I am confident in saying this is going to make it easier, right? Who wouldn't want to pick from less items than more at 2 a.m. when the list is crazy and you're going, dumpster fire and that's not going to work, right? It's a recycle bin, all these little nuances that make you crazy as an officer. So I think that is clearly going to be highly successful, and with a lot of good work from Donna Black to hopefully maintain our funding so we can keep that moving. The year is going to go fast. I'm trying to listen to Josh and be prepared for the complete unknown, but I don't want that to put me in a space where I'm just going to be like, well, I'm just going to wait and see what hits us, what's going to smack me across the face this week. So as you know, Rob Brown announced his retirement, so there'll be a CEO change of command there, and I certainly need to lead that along with our board. And then all the conferences, Scott, you mentioned TSI, and that one is such a phenomenal conference. And I'm just going to take this where I want it. Is that okay if I just kind of go with it?
You're okay. The president now.
No one's going to tell you no.
El Presidente.
But I was thinking about why TSI is so successful. And not that all the conferences aren't successful, but we see a rapid rate of people wanting to attend this and engage, like they're actually present in the conversations, not just checking the box. And I think it's because there's this nice sweet spot of like the value of the human with how do we make your job better and easier instead of like whatever the technology piece is. And no offense, Josh, but the three of you on the screen are way more tech savvy than Josh and I am sure. But how do we make sure that technology just doesn't become this completely lack of mindless, empathetic thing that just drives it, right? Like our firefighters are still little like human creatures and they like that comes with it. So I think trying to manage all of that and be confident that adding in new technology will be successful and not losing a human component. Right down to my emails. I mean, I got this thing on my email that just popped up this week. It's making me crazy because it wants to AI generate everything. And I'm like, am I not good enough? Are my words no longer good enough? I don't know.
Yeah, we were actually messing with the AI bot last night. So one of the new tasks we have as NERIS advisors, there's about between 8 and 10 of us. And we've got a chat going on and we're constantly working. Tom Jenkins keeps us busy as you can imagine. And currently what we're doing now is getting images of every type of apparatus that is in NERIS. So is it a fire truck? Is it a ladder truck, which is different than a platform, which is different than a tiller? And we're trying to find, how do we get these images? And so some of us said last night, what if we just ask AI to create them? And that way it doesn't have a department's name on it. One department doesn't feel like, hey, you should have used my truck. So we were playing around with that last night, and there's this theme of yellow trucks. Some people want, a yellow truck or two in there. So we might throw some white in there for Anne Arundel, so we're trying to make sure we capture the full spectrum. So those are just some of the, the powers.
And what are you going to call them, right? Because what you call one thing, right? The tender, all the words are different geographically.
Yeah, I call it fun.
I call it expensive.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true too. It's gotten very expensive.
Yeah. So Scott, what are you most excited about for TSI? We've been doing a little bit of behind the scenes work.
Yeah, Kevin, can we announce our newest vendor? Do you think we can do that?
Yeah, announce a vendor. It also plugged the Shark Tank and the First Responder Innovation Award.
Yeah, so we've got the link out on LinkedIn and a couple other places. But if you're a department that's done something innovative, we partnered with IDEX and we have an innovation award. And we've had some really amazing submissions of departments doing some really neat and innovative things, and sometimes on low or no budgets. Mm-hmm. And so we want to honor that. Shark Tank is for new startup companies that we put them on stage, and they kind of give an elevator pitch on what their product is or their solution is. And then, you've asked, our audience has asked, our attendees have continually asked to get a CAD vendor to TSI, and we finally have one coming. So we're really excited about it. Central Square. They just emailed us yesterday and said they are coming. So we're excited about that, to have a CAD vendor there to answer your questions and be part of that conversation that we drive at TSI. We're hoping to get a couple more signed, a couple big names. One of them is a product you use every day on your computer. So we're hoping to get them signed pretty soon. So.
Yeah, and just one other thing to kind of add on to that, I'm putting the First Responder Innovation Award and the Shark Tank in all the LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube threads. So if you know any fire departments or anyone that's using tech in a meaningful, practical way, we want to hear about it. That's an important thing at TSI. It's not just vendors just standing there talking about their product being the best thing since sliced bread. We are focusing on end users, first responders, talking about how they're using tech in very practical manners. And Chief Kelly said this on one of the first Tech Talk Tuesdays, and I keep saying it, but to really do R&D, not research and development, but to rip off and duplicate. What can we learn from each other and copy and use some of these different small, like even if it's something small about just using Google My Maps and using ChatGPT in certain ways. There's a lot of free tools that you're using, and so we get some stage time as well as with the startup. So and as well, if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, put in your comments. I'll bring them up and we'll answer them live.
Yeah, and I guess maybe we start with some questions, right? I got a question. This is for Chief Wolford. This is easy. Not to put you on the spot. It's easy, right? So
I got a question for you too, Will.
You go. I don't know if you should go first or not.
No, you go first, and then I'll do how I want to ask you my
There
next
we go. So, fire chief, obviously, right? New president, and then whatever else you have going on. I'm sure you stay very busy. I work for Chief Wolford. I've got this new piece of tech. I've got 10 minutes with you. What are you looking to hear as a fire chief to kind of sell it, basically? So what's a fire chief in your position looking to hear?
Always two questions. I tell my team we ask ourselves two questions when we work on anything. So when you come in, I want to know the answer to, is it good for the community? How will it benefit the community? Question number two, is it good for the membership? What's it going to do for my paramedics, my firefighters, my chief officers? If we answer yes to both of those two things, we move forward. Do we need it or do we want it? What's it cost and how long is it going to take to implement? And we'll do that full rundown. And then the next thing we talk about from there, if we continue, yes, is a comms plan of how we're going to roll that out. Because I don't like to surprise the membership, and we try to be very thoughtful into how much we're releasing in a time frame. Like, okay, we can't release a survey now. We just did one. We can't release a new product because the exhaustion in the field is, right? You open your inbox and you're like, no, I have to learn something else. But those two questions apply to everything. I'll ask myself that all day long. And if you're 1-1, like it's good for the community, but I can't figure out how it's good for the membership, then we're probably not quite there, and we need to like finagle that a little bit or find something similar or close. But that's my quick rundown. So, and you get the full 10 minutes unless you're late.
No, I wouldn't. No, and I wanted to point out to, any officers listening, any chiefs listening, did you hear what she said first, right? Is it good for the community? Is it good for the firefighters? The cost was the secondary questions, because if it's good for those two things, as a budget chief, and I'm sure Chief Waldo and Chief Wolford would agree, we'll figure out the cost, right? The cost, it may be a challenge, but we'll figure that out if it makes sense for the community and the members.
Yeah, because I got to be able to stand out there in front of everybody and sell that and explain myself. So if I'm confident in it, just a solid, good decision. We're expensive, there's no way around that, no matter what we do. And I'm very open about that. Like, we are expensive, but look at the service we provide. Think of anybody else that you have in your home, right? If you were rich and you had a thing that was 24 hours on call that tried to make it there in 4 minutes or 6 minutes or less to handle anything, even if you were rich, you would pay a lot of money personally for that. Yeah. So that's just who we are. I can't help it that we're good and we're expensive.
Yeah, no, it's just the price of doing business.
I got to writing one day about the kind of pathway to unsustainability I think we're headed down. And I thought I had a few words about it, or to say about it. It turned out I had about 5,000 words to say about it. But we are. I mean, we are. The modern fire department is becoming more and more expensive to operate. So we've got to be able to justify what we're doing. I did have a question about your comms plan. Is that just an email, right?
Depends. It could be more than, and I don't tend to email the membership. I tend to do quick YouTube videos because nobody likes to read emails.
What?
I like that.
And the chief doesn't like to write emails on top of that. But it's easier if it's my personality and I can kind of interpret that. The words don't have, like I said, emotion. That's hard to communicate it. Doesn't mean that those videos can't be used against you or for you, right? It's fair game either way. But at least they can pull it up on their phone wherever they're at. And I always put in the body of it, like, here's a 4-minute update, or here's a 12-minute and 30-second update to learn about the department. And I like to hide some Easter eggs in there too. That's kind of fun.
That's a great idea. That's really
I'm going to steal that. Just throwing it out there, or borrow, or whatever we said earlier. What about you, Chief Waldo? So, outgoing president, you take a little bit of a breath, but you're still busy. I got 10 minutes. What are you listening for? What do I have to say to try to convince you?
So I will piggyback and say everything that Trisha said, yes. The things that are important to me, I want to know about the implementation process, and I want to know about support. Where are you going to be in 6 months? Where are you going to be in a year when my members are struggling with it, or we're not getting the return that we wanted on it, right? If it looks good on the front end and we check all the boxes to say, you know what, it's good for the community, good for the department, that's not the end of it. And so I've got to have good implementation. The worst thing you can do in the fire service is roll out tech and it don't work. The firefighters will destroy you, and they'll destroy the product right out of the gate. I don't know that you'll ever get them back at some point. And then the support down the road. How are we going to continue to evolve this product to meet the needs of the community, meet the needs of the department? If I need that quick little change, how long is it going to take, and what's it going to cost? I mean, all those things I want to know. I've had very successful technology rollouts that had good implementation and good support, and I've had really bad ones. So
yes. And
Josh brings up such a great point. One of the key things when we're talking to a vendor or talking about a product, I want customer service. I want human customer service. And if we have to put that in the contract that somebody will answer this phone, for me, that is by far, after that first piece, it makes me crazy if I can't find a human that can help us and have that connection. I don't, and part of it is, no offense to the smaller departments, but I'm a bigger department and I'm willing to pay for that, but there's a lot of people. So, I guess I try to leverage that, but that will make me insane if there's not human customer service.
3 words I hate to hear: submit a ticket.
I don't like that one either.
I just can't stand it. If I am calling you, my problem needs immediate attention. I don't tell people, oh, you have a fire, submit a ticket.
Right.
Oh, you have a medical emergency, submit a ticket.
Right.
Have you reached out to support yet?
Yeah. And don't tell me to reboot it, because I've already done that 5 times. I have tried everything I can not to have to call you.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like,
Yes.
I don't want to call you. That's the key. Like, this is the last resort.
Yeah, and the famous last words I pick on our IT folks here. They're like, so you've rebooted, you've powered, yep. And they go, well, it should work. Well, it is. That's why I'm calling you. I need you to come fix it now.
That's when you have those woosah moments. You have to take a breath, and you're like, I got it, Steve. I got it. But this is why we're on the phone.
I actually leave my office and they come in. I'm like, I feel like my aura is bad for all these devices right now. There's 3 phones, 2 laptops, a large monitor, and an iPad. And I'm like, I think it knows I'm here. So I'm going to go, and you guys come in and talk nice, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, look at this. We got some questions coming in. So this one's from LinkedIn, Scott. It says, how do you vet the back end process and people involved with your tech? We're seeing a lot of PE movement. Does that matter? Does your voice matter in future development? Ooh, how do we do that? Is that a chief level thing, or do you trust your people to vet that? Let's go to Chief Wolford first. How do you vet the back end process and the people involved? How do you do that? I don't know.
Well, they're not talking about vetting my folks, right? They're talking about vetting the product. And so me, I'm calling Metro Chiefs. I'm calling all my friends, right? This is a phone a friend moment. And companies know that, right? That's why on their websites, they try to get that, these big departments have it. But that's the beauty of also, being a Metro Chief, is calling those folks and saying, is it working? Is it not? And I won't just call Metro departments. That is my comparable, but I really try to stick with some comparables. But I want to know that they're not treating smaller departments bad just because they're smaller, so I want to talk to some of those folks and, just see how that's all working out. And then I think a solid contract, I hate to be kind of by the books, but we would be dumb to spend money on something and think it's going to work and go through everything that Josh is talking about to not have some sort of binding contract that puts me in a more elevated position. And then I think I am pretty lucky because people do listen. Like if it's not working for a workforce of 1,000, 1,500 people, and we say, can you move this button or can you do this different? Doesn't always happen, but a lot of times they're willing to listen, and maybe the next version, it works a little bit better.
I think you're spot on too about that phone a friend, and no offense to the vendors out there, and we have some really good relationships with them, but a lot of vendors will just give you the departments that it worked great on, so phoning that friend, finding out the other departments that they had the problems and what were their problems. I think that's really important, and taking your time. The worst thing that you can do, I think the most expensive thing you can do, is rush to buy technology, because you'll end up spending more on the back end if you didn't take your time and get what works for your department.
Yeah, and where else is a great place to do this at, Scott? TSI, folks. Come to TSI. All the fire nerds are in the room. You can ask questions. You can vet this stuff from trusted people. Why not come to TSI? So that's my shameless plug for the conference.
That's not shame. And TSI is good because you can touch stuff, right? Like I want to hold, I want to see, like, no, that they're going to break this tomorrow. I'm not going to bring this back.
That and for me, I think we talked about it at the last TSI. You get to see, I guess, the investment from the vendors, right? Are you walking the floors? Are you out engaged? Are you really trying to educate people about your product? Or are you standing behind a desk waiting for folks to come to you, right? And so to me, it kind of is a place where some folks can be separated from the pack a little bit, just in my experience. I got another question.
Yeah. Do you have any examples of simple technology solutions that have saved you time or made your people safer? Or been a successful story?
Ooh, I can take that one. Can I lead that one?
Go for it.
So when I got here at Charlottesville, we were doing this thing called buck slips or an approval process. And this is just in December of 2024. And we were using paper. So if you wanted to go to class, you'd fill out this paper form and check a box, and it just kind of flow up. And just typical brocious, I got here and I was like, this is dumb. Why are we doing this? That's usually how I start out, right? And like, this makes zero sense. And so we figured out that there's this thing in Microsoft Teams called approvals. And so we said, hey, listen, this is what we need, and we need it done by the end of February. Let's get the team done. And we got it done 2 weeks early. And now the process is completely digital. You can do it from your phone. So now when we have a young, energetic firefighter that's seeking to go to class, instead of this long, drawn-out paper process, it's a few clicks of a button. As long as the individuals that have to do the approvals are staying on top of it when it alerts you, you can get it. You can basically get your approvals done in 10, 15 minutes. And sometimes it takes a little longer, but it just kind of streamlined things. And hopefully, through the course of that, it'll make us safer because we're able to get to more trainings a lot faster, a little bit more cost effective too. So that's been ours. Very easy.
Yeah, I'll give you simple and free QR codes. It is so simple that we have QR codes all over the stations now for, okay, if you're in there cleaning and inspecting your gear, they take their phone out, hit the QR code, and it takes them, to where they can log their information. They don't have to come back to the computer. They don't have to remember a password. QR codes. There's one on the door of the fitness room, because you can log an hour of fitness every shift for your training. So putting it in front of them didn't cost a thing, didn't take very long, super simple, and it's just helped our record keeping so much. Because if they can do it on their phone, I think there's a percentage that I don't know, more likely to get them to do it than if you say, okay, now go sit in front of the computer again.
I think, and I got another great example of that, and I'm going to give Joe, there you go. I'm going to give our friend Joe Powers a plug here. When he was with Henrico? Was that where he was at, Will? Do you remember?
Well, he started these in Charlottesville, and we have them everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I was going to plug him on. I saw he made that post, and he had QR codes on the doors of all the apparatus. And one was for public education. So if they gave a public education class, you just snap that QR code and put the information in your phone. Oh, smoke detector installs. So if you installed a smoke detector, and the great one about that is now you can get a GIS map of it as well. So you can go to council and city administration, like, look at all these, smoke detectors we've installed. Or if you
Firewatch.
What was that one?
This one's Firewatch. So how many times 2 a.m, you got to put somebody under Firewatch? Boom. And then we got incident notification. So again, incident, you need to wake the chiefs up. QR code, bango, it goes right out. I mean, this is supposed to be in my truck, but don't tell them.
There, you have a Wake Chiefs Up QR code.
I mean, that's not officially what it's called, Chief. That's what it's supposed to do, yes. It's officially the incident notification, but I like to call it the Wake Chiefs Up code. So
I like that.
That's what we're going with. What about you, Chief Wolford? What's just a simple technology y'all are using? You can think of anything? Just very easy. I heard you say the iPads. That's another one that's just very clean.
Yeah, and I guess I struggle with, because some of it, like I feel your soul when you talk about process improvement, and you look at something and you go, why? And I feel like that's, I've been here 7 years as the chief. I feel like that's what the team here has been doing for 7 years. And honestly, I'm pretty easygoing about it. When they say, hey, can we? And I go, yeah. Hey, can we? Yeah. Let's give it a try. I don't know that anything is simple when you're a bigger machine. So I don't have anything super specific, but I think probably the most impactful thing has been the records management piece, which is so boring. But like Power DMS that my folks use, like everything is in there so they can see everything. And that was just a transparency thing, right? How do we make sure everybody has the app? How do you make sure everybody can get in there? Sending out weekly, what we call orders, the awareness notifications that people sign for. Some of that stuff is just like getting the system itself to be less clunky. Whatever your training app is, where your certifications go in and where you're sending out like paramedic research, scheduling, like some of those features we just weren't using. So I would consider us like early iPhone users, where we're like, it texts and make a phone call. And there's 97% more things on here that we don't know how to do yet. And maybe now we're 50-50. It's just been a huge learning curve. And to get on, 6 generations, I got 6 generations in the firehouse. Yeah. So that learning curve alone, we actually had a learning curve at our academy, right? We were doing all books. Everybody's using books and studying. And then we went all digital. And then I have this huge age range in the academy. So some of our older folks, I've got people 45, 49, right? We need to get books. Then we cut the budget for books. Now I'm back to books off of technology. Like,
it's all over the place.
you're just learning. You're learning about people and their comfort level. And that to me is the technology piece that I find incredibly fascinating is process improvement and how it affects human behavior, normally in a positive way. It normally makes people happier once you can crest them over that new hump.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to ask you, you had someone with you at the conference at the FRI, and she was right by your side the entire time. And I don't know her name, but just a shout out to her. She impressed our HR liaison that was with us. She's like, look at her energy level, and she was everywhere. So I don't know who that individual is, but shout out to her. And I want to come and study and learn how to be that effective because it appeared that she had everything lined up where it needed to be. Everything was on time. And I'd see her whisper to you, and boom, y'all were off to the next thing. So I know she's utilizing some type of technology, some type of scheduling, some type of planning that once again, it's simple, it's efficient, it's safe, and she was helping to move the team, almost like a shepherd, right? She was just kind of moving the herd where it needed to go. It was so impressive. I said, I got
Colonel, would you like to comment since you're trying to commandeer my employee?
no way, no, he's not. Is he?
Oh,
That is Captain Jenny McAleer. She's a director of communications here. And also, who is probably next to her side was my executive assistant, Chris Johnson.
Yes.
And between the two of them, scheduling, media, talking points, there's so many speeches and things like that. But what they know for me is everybody's time is valuable. It's not just mine. And if I'm late,
Yes.
then that's so rude to anybody else who I'm getting to. So I don't like the approach of, well, you're the chief or you're the president when you get there. I mean, at one point, there were numerous people that saw me in the hallway in my dress with my high heels in hand. I was sweating. I was running to get to another room because the room number had changed and I was going to be late and I didn't want to throw off their schedule. And I get in there and I'm like this, hey, I'm here.
That was very impressive.
Will,
Very
just so
impressive.
we're clear, Captain Jenny, her name is Boss.
Oh, I picked that up. And you
Boss.
and Chief Waldo, you can't steal her because we're closer. And if she wanted to go somewhere, we're just right down the road because she is amazing. And
Oh,
Kevin, it wouldn't be a bad thing to have somebody like that on the show to talk about that, right? Mastering that art of shepherding and bossing and just she's got to be utilizing technology in a very effective way. I've never seen someone so streamlined. I felt really inadequate when I pulled my little cell phone out and trying to go through my calendar, being late somewhere. So
no,
awesome.
she's
And you got to understand, she's not just running Trisha around. I'm emailing, texting. Hey, I know you're busy. She sent me an email this morning as
Wow.
I'm recruiting her, as her email signature says, "You're part-time PIO."
That is amazing. That's amazing.
I think there's somewhere in the body of the email that says you can send your invoice to this email address.
A
Nope,
QR
not
code.
seeing it. Not seeing it.
I'm going to tell her to get a QR code so you can quick pay like Venmo.
Donations are welcomed.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
just
does
keep a
take
tab.
a village, and those two can run circles. Add in my assistant chief, Larry Schultz, watching the department, running the calendars. Because you mentioned before, I've got, Metro, IAFC, FirstNet, right?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff churning. So,
So,
yeah,
so, so maybe we switch gears a little bit, Scott, right? So we've been talking about technology, but this is one of those moments we start talking about, being a chief officer in leadership or for those that strive to get to that level. And what I'm hearing from both of these individuals is putting trust in others, not micromanaging, trusting that person to get you where you need to be at the right time. Chief Waldo, how important is it at that fire chief level, at that president level, to put that kind of trust in others?
Best thing for my leadership team was for me to go away for a year. Honest to goodness. I mean, they have grown so much without me being around all the time, to the point now that, I mean, 2 days back in the office, I'm like, folks need anything? They're like, no, you should go do something. I mean, they have grown leaps and bounds, and it's opened my eyes to be like, all right, I got to let them do more than I probably was before, because their potential's so high. And so, yeah, you've got to trust people. You got to let them run. My admin assistant, she is phenomenal. She has full reign and access and authority. And a lot of times I'm just walking down the hall and she's going, you're going here, you're going there. It's made me more effective. It's made me more efficient to kind of turn loose of a lot of things. And I think that helps with the stress of trying to manage it all because you can't do it by yourself.
Yeah. What about you, Scott? Now, your BC level ops, boots on the ground. How does that transition to your captains or lieutenants or, you know, those officers, junior officers? How do you do that at the ops level?
You know, it's a team effort, and I can't be successful without them. I've got such great officers and firefighters that work with me day in, day out, and you just can't get this job done without them and through them. I've got we're kind of talking on the leadership level and a little bit about technology. I've got a post from LinkedIn that I came across, and I'm going to read this to you, and I'm going to see if we can get everybody's feedback. The original poster is Scott O, just O is all it is, and I think he was out of Australia. This is my biggest frustration as a leader, reporting to one who can't lead. You know the type, obsessed with dashboards full of green, clueless about what the numbers actually mean or how it drives outcomes. Spins a good story, but so one-dimensional it's embarrassing. They measure the wrong things perfectly and avoid anything that might expose a problem. It's leadership by optics, not outcomes. Great leadership can't just start in the middle. It has to start at the top with the courage to see reality, ask the hard questions, and act on the answers. Because if you don't measure what matters, you'll end up perfecting what's irrelevant, and that's when you lose your team. Disrupt or be disrupted.
Wow.
I thought that was a pretty powerful post. And I think that probably resonates with a lot of fire departments across the nation, that you know, leadership by optics, not by outcomes. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I love the phrase, measure the wrong things perfectly. Because that is the hole in the dive right down into that rabbit hole, right? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, you're completely off track because you're sucked in over here and you're getting, that's a great phrase.
Yeah. I like that. I'm gonna not comment much more so I don't get myself in trouble. Past places, you know. But they're spot on with that one. They're spot on with that. What about you, Chief Waldo?
Well, you go back to what Trisha said, you know, when we started this conversation about it's easy to get sucked into data points, technology, and not really look at what's the human doing here? How's the human managing all this? Yeah, we measure a ton of stuff here. We analyze data inside and out, but I feel like we've still got a pretty good pulse of what that means to our folks on the street running the calls, because that's what's most important. We have all the tools in the world, but if we don't have humans that are, you know, high functioning, really isn't going to matter.
And I know next FRI, Kansas City, some would say the barbecue capital. You know?
No.
I mean, some are.
Ooh, let's have a vote. Who's everybody think the barbecue capital is?
I mean, I'm Kansas City's got to be right there for me.
Is that your vote, Will? You're going to have to confirm that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stamp it. Kansas City. Okay. Yes.
Josh?
Will probably eats mustard or vinegar-based barbecue sauce too, then. So that's irrelevant.
Maybe. No mustard. No mustard. South Carolina.
Yeah. What do you got, Josh? Where is it?
It's the great state of Tennessee. No questions asked.
Of course, he's going to say Tennessee.
And Scott, Texas. I mean,
you guys, they just embarrass themselves. They don't know what they're talking about. They've never had a real barbecue.
He's going to say Texas because of brisket.
Where is it?
Anywhere in Texas.
Just the entire state. Yeah. What about you, Kevin?
I mean, Chicago actually has pretty good DVQ. Even though most people don't like to admit it.
South Carolina's my home. I didn't vote for them. You have to go somewhere else.
If we want to come back and talk pizza, all right, Kevin, you got a conversation here, but not barbecue, brother.
Doesn't a Chicago-style hot dog count? Poppy
no. No one has ever said barbecue in Chicago in the history of barbecue.
Y'all lost. You're outnumbered. I would have said Chicago. That's right. That's hometown arena.
We did some Texas guys up a couple of years ago, and they were like, you know what, this actually kept up. No, it's definitely not. I mean, I do love going to Kansas City and just kind of like throwing monkey wrenches at people and sort of saying who's got the best barbecue. But I did enjoy the barbecue in Kansas City, but I'm not as much of an aficionado to really know. But I like all barbecue.
And our
Political
TSI
answer.
location will have barbecue.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
it will. And
This
so
is
we'll
true.
first do conference in 38 days away. I'll be in Kansas City, just doing what I do. I already told my doctor I don't want to hear about it. Don't schedule any appointments for 2 weeks after I get back from Kansas City. Like, I don't want to hear about my cholesterol, my blood pressure. Let's just ignore those things for a little bit. So
But you're gonna work out while you're there, right?
I'm not. No, I'm not at all. I'm not even gonna lie. No, this is recorded. I'm not working out. The most workout I'm gonna do is walking from one place to another if I cannot find a
Wow.
scooter.
No.
No, just
I
being
love
honest.
the honesty.
I just gotta, because my wife's gonna watch this and then she's gonna go, "You're a liar." So just, hey, babe, you know what it is. I'll do push-ups when I get home, or I'll get on the row machine. But until then, it's barbecue.
Will, when you come to TSI, we'll go get some barbecue. When when FRI was here time before last, so my friends from NFA came, and I took them to some barbecue, and they learned what the meat sweats are.
I'm
It's
ready.
a real thing.
And you can go for a run with Josh and I.
I know. No. But I do want to point out, because we were talking about barbecue. Get back to the leadership thing.
Sorry, yeah.
I will say, because you just mentioned, you said Josh and I. So this was 2 or 3 FRIs ago. You both taught a class on interviewing for chief positions.
Mm-hmm.
I used some of those things in my interview for this job. And so I'm going to beg that maybe not the next FRI, because I know you'll both still be busy. But if not that one, the next one, you have to bring that class back. I still talk about it to this day. The lessons learned, the little things like arriving early so your body can climatize to the environment. The things you mentioned, Chief Wall, for females, making sure there was flats. I think there was a story about a dog y'all were chasing. The length of this, I remember like verbatim. You even mentioned, hey, listen, if you're a man and mechanical, clean your hands, make sure grease and stuff's not in the nails. So the key takeaway from that I learned was, if you're there interviewing with other people, you're equal. You're on paper. You've already met that bar, right? So that moment in front of that board is what separates you. So do you want them to remember your dirty hands, your footwear? I think you even mentioned bad breath. Or do you want them to remember, what you said about the job and the goals and whatnot? So please bring that class. I talk about it all the time because it
That's
applies not only
awesome.
for chief officers, but for captains, for engineers. Like, you have to start preparing yourself now for the job you want in the future. So what are some things you did, Chief Wolford, minus that class, that helped prepare you for where you are now as a fire chief, as a president? What's some things you started years ago preparing yourself doing?
Well, maybe I wouldn't even see, I would love to say I have that much forethought to think years ago. But moving into the president role, understanding my already commitments and responsibilities, a lot of self-talk, like, okay, Trisha, here's how this is going to go. So for me, the big thing is self-discipline conversation. And I've seen Josh do it. I've seen John Butler do it. I saw Donna do it. Like, watching that presidential year and then hearing their exact, pretty much, outcomes and speeches about, if you are not careful, you will get sick, right? You are going to be miserable. You are going to alienate people in your life. Like, you have to be disciplined. And for me, that starts with knowing I'm going to have to work late, right? Getting my work emails done so I don't let my department down, first and foremost. My workouts, how much alcohol I'm drinking at events, how late I'm staying out. It sounds so regimented and almost annoying, but I have a job to do and I have a membership to represent. And, previously we could all go out, right? You could go to a whatever event at a conference. And if you're up till 2 a.m. and having great, even business conversation, fantastic. But you can't get on the stage at 8 a.m. and have an opening speech and not feel and look terrible. I'm not getting any younger. None of us are, ironically. So that piece, that's really what I started watching and learning for a year. And then calendar discipline. You talk about these folks that support me, Chris and Jenny. I have to live and die by that calendar. And that means my workouts on there, my family time, my social time. Again, it sounds icky. It feels icky, but I think I talked about it in that class. It is the only way to create space for yourself. And I have to protect that. And so we protect space, and I actually protected some at FRI. And I felt kind of guilty. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to feel guilty. It was 3 hours that I just couldn't have a meeting because my mom was there and I wanted 3 hours alone with her before the next event. And I knew I was going to want to put my feet up and close my eyes so that I wasn't half of a human and trying to socialize that night and not give my all. So the discipline and the protecting of the calendar is huge.
Wow. That's cool that your mom was there and you took that time. I don't think you should feel guilty at all taking that time with her. So
it's hard to tell people no when they're like, are you sure you can't do a 2 o'clock meeting? Are you sure you can't? And you're the only one that is like trying to hold your ground, and it comes across as being a jerk and you're not trying to.
Yeah.
Josh is so nice. He's the nice one of the bunch. He's all sure. The Southern Tennessee comes out, and then the East Coast comes out.
So it's been a good team. It's been a very good team over the last few years to see how you all have pushed, the organization, inspired the next generation, and also supported technology. Chief Waldo, we were thankful to see, the full board at TSI last year. No pressure, Chief Waldo or Chief Wolford to do the same, just saying. But it was nice to see that support, and it lets us, I call ourselves fire nerds and, tech nerds, see that, because sometimes it's not supported. It's not the, the flashy or sexy thing in the fire service, right? Sometimes it's gazmos and gadgets and dashboards. So thank you for that support.
No, it's super simple. I mean, even if you look at, I think it was Thursday at FRI this year, it was full tech. I mean, from Andreas and First Do up there, we had the session on AI. I mean, we've got to embrace it. That is the future. There's no turning our blind eye to it. And so the more that we can put good information in front of fire chiefs, the better off we're going to be down the road.
No, I agree.
I got to change gears a little bit. I got a question for you. Just going back to Hurricane Katrina, 2005, and then the year afterwards, the IAFC put a committee together and came up with I realized the need for kind of a national mutual aid system after Hurricane Katrina. And talking with Chief Muncie, I know there's some renewed interest in this. I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts and feelings on it. I know that one of the problems we had in 2006 is that technology wasn't there for it, couldn't support a national system like that. And I do believe now the technology is capable of doing that on a national scale. But I just want to get your input, your thoughts on that type of, because we have FEMA with the task forces and all that.
All of a sudden, Waldo's got a mic problem.
What? We're losing internet?
Yeah. Somebody play Rocky Top to bring him back to life.
I just got something to do right over here.
No pressure.
Absolutely inexcusable that we do not have a national mutual aid system today. Inexcusable. There's no reason for it. The technology is there. The need has been there. And I think we're so close now with NERIS having this standardization of an API that all the CADs have to push to, they all have to talk to. I'm just running out of empathy when people say, well, no, I don't want to hear it. I want to see it done. I'm tired of seeing these events. And we've all heard this story. The incident commander is sitting in an event saying, I've been begging for resources for the last week and I can't get them. And then you talk to another fire chief who says, yeah, we sent a team down. They staged 2 counties over and never got mobilized. Mm-hmm. There's no reason for that. Not today. 30, 40 years ago, I get it. Today, no reason. They should pull into your staging area and scan your QR code. This is so simple to me. And I'm sure the folks, the tech folks behind the scenes are like, there's a little bit. That's fine. But just the overall premise that telling me it can't be done, or there's, I'm tired of hearing it. It can be done, and now we need to make it happen.
Yeah, in Texas, You know, we just had some major flooding in Kerrville, Texas, and catastrophic flooding, and we had specialized teams drive through the Metroplex while teams in the Metroplex sat in the stations. You know, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, they came through Dallas to get to Kerrville, and we had teams sitting here that could have deployed through that kind of system.
Montana last fire season, we sent trucks to Pennsylvania, New York, and Texas. We're the closest, most appropriate resource. No, not even close.
Yeah. I like it. So hopefully we'll, we know the needs out there. The technology exists. We just gotta keep pushing. I think to your point, Chief Waldo, with NERIS and some conversations with Tom Jenkins, I think it will be easier, going down the line. So, we'll just keep our fingers crossed and I'll keep pushing, for this much needed change that we all see. And
well, I'm not keeping my fingers crossed. I mean, right. I mean, last time we all banked on a hope to move us forward, right? That's not really gonna, Dan and I are good friends. We've had conversation. I plan on pushing the conversation. I feel like one of my firefighters, just like Josh, when they're like, I don't understand, right? We got CAD. You're either status 1, you're status 8, right? You're ready, you're not ready. And then geography and AVL. And so I know, as one of my firefighters says to me, Chief, it's so simple. You just blah, blah, blah. And my brain's going.
That's how they feel.
That's right. So it's very humbling to be in that space and to not understand what it takes on the backside, but to know why, right? Will, I'm channeling the will, right? Why?
Yeah, why are we doing this?
So it's on the list, and we're going to keep working on it. And I hope to God we can get there in 359 days. That would be really cool.
Yeah, and there's tremendous hurdles, and they're not technology hurdles, right? They're probably some ego hurdles, dealing with different states, different emergency.
Tell me more, Scott. Tell me more.
So you're right. I mean, the technology is there. We got that part done. It's everything. It's the people portion now that's difficult.
Yeah, we'll get it.
To me, this is the membership. Like Josh was talking about, the users. Like, how are the users not more empowered to say it's not working? Help us. Josh and I hear stories all the time. It's chiefs calling chiefs. Hey, send me blah blah blah. Yep. Hey, send me blah blah blah. Text.
I'm sitting here thinking, where would be a good place to kind of have that conversation with a bunch of like-minded people? Just TSI.
Man, you are a salesman, Will.
I'm sitting here thinking, like, hey, listen, a lot of
we'll go TSI for a great meeting
at Starbucks. We can have a wonderful, delicious Starbucks drink at TSI.
I wish I had something else to sell. I don't have anything.
I got plenty. I've got the water. I've got the cheer wine. Yeah, good stuff. So we're almost at wrap-up time. As usual, Scott, an hour just goes by when you're having fun, right? It's a flash, right? So Chief Waldo, I guess maybe kind of start with the outro. What's next other than taking a breath, right? So the work's not finished, and I know you're still involved. What's some plans this year besides just kind of maybe just a little relaxation?
Breath is over, buddy. We went back to work yesterday.
My man.
And we got so much to do, whether it's talking about a mutual aid system, whether it's talking about recruitment and retention, mental health, cancer. The fire service still has no shortages of challenges in front of us, and no one person's going to solve it. It's going to take all of us. And so we got a great president running this thing now. Time for breath. That was Sunday.
That's right.
Back yesterday. And I joke with Trisha all the time, but it's true. We are grinders. We are absolute grinders. Every day we get up and just go at it and hope we're moving that needle just a little bit more every day. And so it's head down, running as hard as I can, started yesterday because we got a lot of work left to do. And, we've got 359 days. I've heard that number a few times already, but I know the kind of people that Trisha and I are, and both of you are, is like, even in 360, we'll take a breath, and then it'll be day one again, and we'll be right back to work, because that's just the kind of people we are, trying to make the fire service just a little bit better.
Love it. Chief Wolford, how's the next year look?
Well, I was going to flip the script because I didn't get to ask my question before.
Oh no, I was trying to avoid that the whole time.
Yeah,
I thought I was doing great.
So I have a different question, just because I'm certainly curious for the three of you. Well, the four of you, actually, there's four on the screen. Would you all mind entertaining that? It's just a one-word answer.
Go for it.
How, in one word, only one word, you can use a hyphenated word, how would you describe the future of technology?
Intriguing.
And you can't use each other's words, cheaters.
Let's say thrilling.
What was it?
Thrilling.
Grilling?
Thrilling. Thrill.
Grilling. Okay.
Intuitive.
Did you already get mine? I said mine already, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Opportunistic.
Say it again.
Opportunistic.
Okay. As your president, I'm going to hold you to these words. I see none of you use the word fun.
Oh no. That's a trick. It will be fun.
That's going to be my word, is fun. My job is to make intriguing, thrilling, intuitive, opportunistic, fun.
There you go.
And successful. Thank you for entertaining my question.
I think there's just so much great things happening with technology right now, and there's so much available to us that we really don't even know. And that's kind of been, my push and Will's push and some of the others to fill that gap of knowledge of what's available for us right now that can make us safer, more effective, and more efficient, and provide better service to our communities. And just getting everybody to realize that, from artificial intelligence that is just going crazy right now, and augmented reality, virtual reality, wearable systems, unmanned systems, manned systems. There's a company right now that's got a drone that's flown by a person. There's just so much out there. And then the data analytics, communications, there's just so much actually out there available to you right now. And that's where I'm thrilled to see where the future can go with this.
Scott, think about it. Trisha said earlier, a lot of our systems we're using at 10%, 15% capacity. And right now, if you look at the fire service, I would say only 10 to 15% of our departments are taking advantage of all this tech.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine how fast it's going to move and how fast it will evolve when we get 50% of the departments to use it. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we won't say the official number live, but I just saw the text from Kevin. We broke our viewership record. So I would like to think that's due to our special guest today. So thank you both from taking time out of your busy schedules. And I love that, Chief Waldo, just about the grind, right? And I always say you can't fake passion. And when you hear people talk about it, you can hear that passion in your voice, both of your voices. So, thank you for having that passion. It's infectious, right? It's hard to be around passionate people and you not be passionate about a topic. So thank you for keeping that passion alive for the fire service. And again, just, encouraging the next generation to step up and keep it pushing, just like I'm sure someone did for both of you. So Kevin, we have a minute left.
One thing that I want to call out is one of my highlights of FRI was receiving the coolest challenge coin ever known to mankind.
What in the world? And why do I not have one of those?
Will, you didn't get one?
I'm driving to Anne Arundel to get one. That is
Arundel County Fire Department, 2019 to current, and then IAFC President 2025, 2026. I just love this thing, and it's so fitting. And I will carry this with pride to continue to advance everything that Chief Waldo that you've built, but now with Wolford, you at the helm, and I'm just excited to continue to build this momentum. And so, from Tech Talk Tuesdays to the other show we're doing, Wildfire Wednesdays, to the road to TSI, and all the great shows that IAFC does, let's keep banging the drums and reach out to everyone you see on the screen here. We're all available. I think. Waldo and Wolford are a little busier. Bur's just got a little bit low, and I definitely probably have the most time. But maybe reach out to me, and I can help quarterback if you got questions, ideas, and just continue to let IFC be a resource for all of you.
Hey, and I'm pretty sure
one thing that I guess
let's go
on, Scott. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure you can use that as a weapon too.
Self-defense.
Trust me, she's already thrown it at me, Scott, twice.
I would never, safety and style go hand in hand.
True. And I guess my final thing to all of you in the minute or two we have left, we're going over just a minute, is a final quote or words of wisdom. Chief Wolford, you asked about a single word, but I would love if you all had maybe a quote or a life lesson or some sort of mic drop type moment that we could all end this with here today. So, and Scott and Will, you're included in that. If you got something here, so as opposed to voluntolding, anyone want to go first?
I mean, I said mine already about you can't fake passion, and I'm a firm believer in that. Either you have it or you don't. And no offense to anybody, but if you don't have passion about this business we're in, Amazon's probably hiring. You need to be passionate about this job and the people we serve, whether they're firefighters or the community. So keep the passion.
Not my quote. I stole it, but I love it. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Mm.
Am I up?
Looks like it.
You're up.
If anybody heard my walk-off music after my speech, that would be part of my quote. So you can look that up. If not, I have a newspaper clipping that is hooked right here to my monitor that says "Rise and grind. Let's do this."
I'll leave with kind of that LinkedIn feed but leadership by outcomes, not by optics.
Such a philosopher, Scott.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, thank you both for
all.
joining us today. Thank you, Fire Rescue One and the International Association of Fire Chiefs for helping host this. And Kevin, thank you for all the work you do in the background.